Oh, Vosh, did you take the Hobbit's Isengard? Dude, the Two Towers in theaters was phenomenal. Really, really, really enjoyed it. I actually think it's a little bit weaker than Fellowship. I wasn't necessarily expecting that, but I really think that the middle of the Two Towers slows a bit because of, I think that the like early to mid Rohan portion is not as interesting as it could be. I think especially in the extended cut, there are too many flashbacks to Eowyn. I think like I really think they didn't need three like interspersed there. With Arwen, with the Shield Maiden, I because her role doesn't like pay out in any way in the Two Towers, I feel like a lot of that time with her feels wasted, even though it pays out in the next movie. Eowyn? Oh, am I mixing up Arwen and Eowyn? You know, the white Shield Maiden, you know who I'm talking about. Helm's Deep is so good. Helm's Deep is spectacular. Helm's Deep, dude. I was watching with my partner, and legitimately, they were reacting to the development of the battle at Helm's Deep as though it was actually happening. Like when the ladders came out, they were like, they were like, it's such a gripping fight, and I really think it's because Helm's Deep feels like a real place. At the end of the day, like, and that's the thing that makes them special, man. There are so many movies out there where like this is a castle, it's so big, and like you look at it, it's like it's like 5 miles wide, and it's all CGI or whatever. With Helm's Deep, it's like, nope, this is a fort. It's got a couple hundred people in it. It's a really good fort, but it's just like this is what it looks like, and it feels real the entire time. Love the part when they throw a ladder back and it lands on a shit ton of Urks. Dude, the mega ladders that they use to breach the keep, so cool. The ballista that fires the gigantic grappling, the like spear hook, and then they pull up the enormous like 200-foot tall ladder. God, those are so cool. Oh my God, they're so cool. What a good movie. Watching Return of the King tonight, which is why I'm not going to be able to stream that long. Return of the King's the longest one. The only bit that takes me out of it is the cavalry charge at the keep. A little bit, like the final ride. I get that. I think that a little bit more could have been done to establish how they could have charged forward without getting like speared immediately from like the 100 dudes they ran through. But again, like it's not meant to be like realistic fantasy. You're not watching like Game of Thrones or anything, right? You're watching Horse are scary. Yeah, but that wasn't, you wouldn't horse charge through that many. That's not ideal. You have to suspend your disbelief a little. Yeah, it's fine to suspend your disbelief a little. They're heroic characters. It is real. Okay. I'm not arguing cavalry tactics with chat. Neither of us know what we're talking about. Okay. I'm not doing that. Theoden is so frustrating in that movie when he wasn't that way in the book. I mean, I don't know. I kind of sympathize with him, man. Like the situation was pretty like the recommendation from Aragorn was that he ride out. He had like a couple hundred horsemen against an army of 10,000. I don't know. The only reason the charge worked at the end was because they were getting spearheaded behind. They were getting like crushed against the walls of Helm's Deep. I feel like going to Helm's Deep was the correct answer there, Just like he was just like really scared, which I think is pretty fair, They cut out a sword battle between Aragorn and Sauron. Buddy, we're talking about the Two Towers right now. I'm watching Return of the King tonight. The part's super good. I just didn't like how he was so difficult before Helm's Deep. I mean, I think you could fairly argue that he was still being affected a little bit by spending years under mind control. Well, maybe not years. I don't know how long exactly. Under Saruman. The correct answer would be to gather all the Rohirrim in time and mow them down the open field. No. Against 10,000? 10,000 Uruk-hai? I don't think so, man. The Uruk-hai had crossbows. It's not like they didn't have the ability to shoot cavalry archers. Also, how would they have been if the elves didn't arrive, huh? How would they have been? That it would have been over. The detail where in Helm's Deep and in the War of the Five Armies, like at the beginning of the first film, where when the elf archers fire through their own lines, so good, man. They did in the books. Well, I'm glad they did in the movies, okay? God, I love that shit so much. That the human archers, they have to like fire in volleys or duck so they don't get hit by the men behind, but the elven archers can just shoot through their own ranks because they're that good. So good. So good. Such good movies. We really don't make them like those anymore. Oh man. Also, the Uruk-hai were made to fight cavalry. Look at the pikes they had. Yeah, it makes sense because the Uruk-hai were literally made by Isengard to beat Rohan. So it made totally like they were the horse lords. It makes sense that they would specifically train them to fight against the horsebacks, the horse archers or whatever. So good. So good. Do you think it's safe to say Lord of the Rings is the greatest trilogy of all time? I don't know. That's such a like Reddit Watch Mojo thing to say, but I feel like yeah, probably based on like I would have to think, but that's probably yeah. In terms of like cultural influence or value or something, I don't know. It's crazy. It's so good. Most trilogies are dog shit at some point. Even the Back to the Future, the third one is just not as good as the first or second. Still good, but like the Return of the King is really really good. I mean, I'll be reminded of it soon when I watch it tonight. What about the original Star Wars trilogy? Return of the Jedi is not that good. Wait, I'm sorry, not Return of the Jedi. What's the last one? The sixth one? Is that Return of the Jedi? Yeah, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return. Yeah, Return of the Jedi is just not that great. Obviously, Empire is phenomenal. A New Hope is really good, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. Dune and Spider-Verse will top it. Man, no hate, but I do not think that Dune can possibly beat Lord of the Rings. Like, Dune is really good, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy is really, really fucking good. It's so good, you know? I think a lot of it, honestly, I don't know how to put this. When you're watching the Lord of the Rings, it doesn't feel like you're watching Hollywood movies. The pacing, everything, the way it's structured, it just doesn't feel that way. It feels like you're watching a saga of something that actually happened in the right. Like again, I don't know how much of this is just like the legendary reputation of Lord of the Rings, but it does feel mythical, you know. It feels like I don't know if anything compares to it, because there are lots of good movies, but when you're watching it, it feels like you're watching a movie. But everything in Lord of the Rings comes together to you're watching it, and it's like, no, this is just like shit that happened, man. And a lot of that is the incredible set work and the incredible like the props, the fact that they built these environments, they used like really 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 high quality backdrops to make everything feel like it was real and historical. A lot of it is the fact that it, you know, it was from a source material that was very detail oriented. Yeah, Tolkien is a phenomenal world builder. It felt like they always had an answer for the world. Like every moment you're in the world of Lord of the Rings, it feels like you're in a place that could have actually existed. Maybe it's that Dune is too fantastical. Maybe like or maybe it's just I don't know. I really don't know. I genuinely don't. There's something special about Lord of the Rings that really does like surpass its contemporaries. I love Dune. I'm not anti-Dune. I don't know. Dune is too cynical to be pure like Lord of the Rings. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that does help. Yeah. Maybe the fact that Lord of the Rings is extremely morally straightforward helps a lot. You know, it doesn't seek to challenge you on its premise. You know what I mean? Stop ignoring the Cars trilogy. Yeah. Also, can we talk about how woke Tolkien was? Like, leaving aside that letter where a neo-Nazi asked him what he thought of the Jews, and he was like, they're goated with the sauce. The whole plot, like from Eowyn and the whole Shield Maiden business. I shouldn't be like a woman like in the caves. I should be fighting on the field. To the whole like the number one villain that they fight in the movies or presumably the book. I haven't read the book. The number one villain is isolationism. It's not even Sauron. Like over and over and over and over again, they're like, dog, can you take the world? Elves, can you take this shit seriously? The shit that happens there affects you. Ents, the shit that happens there affects you. Rohan, the shit that happens there affects you. Gondor, the shit that happens there affects like consistently the biggest stumbling block they run into over and over and over and over and over again is paranoia, isolationism, distrust in your fellow man, elf, dwarf, whatever. You get me. The Ents step up, though? Well, a lot of them do, right? I mean, basically everyone does, except for the elves. In the long run, the elves don't really, you know, they're on their way out, whatever. But it features essentialism heavily? Yeah, but come on. It's old fantasy. It's the fantasy. It's like everyone's conception of what an elf and a dwarf are came from this, you know? It's also really not like that essentialist, I don't think. Like, as different as they are, the hobbits, elves, dwarves and humans all are basically the same. Like they have different there are like differences, but at the end of the day they can all sit down, be friends, hang out. Like the differences really aren't that fundamental. Do they have any good orcs? I feel like it's hard to say with the orcs because the orcs are literally an unnatural race, but even then there are scenes where the orcs are shown like making jokes or having friends or making conversation with each other. Like the orcs are literally bred by evil. They're not like natural, you know? That's only in the movies. I've only watched the movies. I've only watched the movies. The orcs are like Freeren's demons? No, they're not. Not at all. The Freeren's demons are like openly, consciously malicious. The orcs are just like stupid and violent. And even then, they're not really that stupid. Like, there are scenes where the orcs and the Uruk-hai act pretty intelligent. They're not really that dumb. They're very competitive. Weren't there games that really did a good job of showing? Yeah, Shadow of Mordor, or Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor. They show like the orcs and the goblins in the Lord of the Rings universe are like not really, I don't want to put it like not really innately evil, more like they're just very they are evil, but they're not consciously malicious, I guess. I don't really know. I feel like if they, under the right circumstances, you could make an orc fine. I really do. I really do think that. I think that if you like killed all the orcs in a group, but one survived, and you were like, hey, I'll let you live and I'll give you meat, but you need to like chill the fuck out, they would probably chill the fuck out. I think they would. I think they'd be like, all right. And then they just kind of like be crabby in a corner or something. I don't think they're that driven by a desire to kill that they would do it like at their own expense. They're pretty self-interested for the most part, you know? Are you saying they're culturally predisposed? Oh my God, yes, absolutely. But they're also made with evil, like magically with evil. Like they're not normal. They don't like reproduce and then produce more, and they are born normally. They're literally pulled out of the evil juice in the spawning pool. So it's a whole different. That's only the Uruk-hai. Oh, is that true? Do goblin? No, I thought goblins were. I thought the. Wait, what's the difference between goblin and orc? Because so the Uruk-hai were made by Saruman. What's the difference between goblin and orc? Or are they no different? Are they just the same? Goblins are in the Hobbit? Just terminology? Size, I think? There technically isn't a difference? Okay, whatever. Orcs are corrupted elves? No, I know that, but like then they've been bred, right? They don't. Not every orc you see was once an elf. They don't have that many elves. Goblins are their own thing. Orcs are descendants of elves. Okay. I'll read the Silmarillion one day, okay? Silverini, whatever it's called. It's okay. Okay. How Tolkien depicted the Eastern men was pretty problematic, not gonna lie. Yeah, but you know what? You know what I want to say? The very first time you see men from the East, who, yes, are like swarthy and evil with the big elephants and they serve Sauron or whatever, you know what happens the very first time you see them? Boromir's brother looks over one of them. Faramir looks over the one who's been shot and said, do you think he wanted to be here? What lies and threats drove him here when he would rather be at home with his family and friends? I'm just saying, like, I think Tolkien was pretty, well, okay, that might not be a quote from the book. Maybe that's just from the movie. But I think in the movie, the message is very, very clear, which is that, like, the Eastern men are fundamentally not different from what Rohan would have been if they had succumbed completely to the corruption of Saruman. If the king had completely succumbed to Saruman, you know? Like, it's just people are misled. No, it is a quote from the book. Well, that's great. Wokeness prevails. Okay, well, Lexiglorp, I don't know shit about that. Moral of the story is that the Germans are evil? I didn't need the Lord of the Rings to tell me that.